I want to share with you some personal perspectives and also share some research on our health and what we eat and how it impacts upon our lives and even our generation. Growing up in the Caribbean, and not just in the Caribbean, the lifestyle of many African Americans, even here in the US, we use the SAD diet. And what is the SAD diet? It's the standard American diet. And this diet is like a dietary plan that focuses on a lot of carbs, a lot of sugars, a lot of processed food, and is very low in whole foods like fruits and vegetables and other plant based products. When you talk to most people, they would say, I eat healthy. And eating healthy doesn't mean that you cook food. Yes, you have some beans and some chicken and some rice. But when you look at how you portion out your food, is that plate half of rice and just a handful of beans and a lot of meat on it? Where's the vegetables? Where's the fruit? Where's the salad? And it's not just a matter of comparing eating salad every day. But when I look at my own personal life and family and growing up, I would have loved a lot of flours, eat a lot of flour every day. And, we like these dumplings and we like what we call bakes. We like fried bakes and all of this. We like breads. And when we have a diet like that and a lot of pasta, what happens is gut dysbiosis. Now, a lot of times we as human beings, and I did this in my earlier life, we would say, God, why is this happening to me? Why am I having all these issues? Why am I having, whether it's constipation or bloating or, just irritable bowel or so many food sensitivities? The question is, what have you done to contribute to that? And so when we look back at how we've been eating, even in our childhood, it affects us as we get older. Do you know that when we get older, a lot of our gut microbes starts depleting, a lot of the gut bacteria and the digestive juices, the acid gets lower. And so it's difficult for us to digest. And that's when we see a lot of problems. But these problems has been systemic. These problems it's like there was a build-up from since childhood until we came to this place. All right, so let's talk a little bit about healthy eating habits for the development of young adults. We want to look at our children, what are we feeding them, and even the older generation and how it impacts us when we get older. You see, an unhealthy eating lifestyle mostly starts at an early age. Yes, it does. Children are very, very, they're very lean to eating, predisposed rather to eating comfort foods. A child will eat what they like, and I will always tell my son, you can't be a fun eater, you have to be a fuel eater. So from an early age, if we start feeding our children what they like, so let's say we give that child a lot of mac and cheese, a lot of bakes, cookies, bread, cereals, processed food, that's what they're going to want. That's what they're going to like. And it's going to be, a task to get them to transition. We have to start teaching these children healthy eating habits from an early age so that this impacts the younger generation. They grow up with the mindset of understanding how they need to eat, and then in turn, their children and so on and so forth. So poor health is caused by unhealthy eating habits in childhood that can continue into adulthood and put your child at risk for several chronic health conditions. For example, children with unhealthy weight can become depressed and have poor self image and low self esteem. But it's not even that. If you have a child that is suffering with constipation, that's something you need to address. Not just say, okay, let me give them some prunes and some water, but you need to really look at that diet and see what dietary changes can I make to change my child's gut microbiota? How can I change the diet, the way that this child is, digesting the food and the bacteria in the gut? How is it that, this child is not able to go to the bathroom at least once or twice a day? So you're going to have to look at, what can I incorporate and what can I do? And this is where I want to help you to check out these healthy eating habits that could benefit your children, even teenagers as well. All right, it's never too late. So you can help them make healthy food choices instead of commanding them. So it won't make sense to command a child, eat more vegetables, eat more fruit. And when we as the parent has been feeding them, a lot of rice, a lot of pasta, a lot of bread, we want to try to transition and make it our goal to have a variety of nutritious foods available for the children. So one of the things I started doing, you remove a lot of the foods. If you look at a lot of the snacks that children eat nowadays, there's a lot of high fructose corn syrup inside of there, a lot of GMOs. you know, a lot of bioengineered stuff inside of there. So you want to start reading your labels and making sure that it's clean stuff. Now that's another topic I'd like to get deeper in on another segment. But we want to practice, you know, the things that will help our children to learn how to make healthy food choices. So it's not just commanding, it's teaching them and helping them to get that knowledge so they will in turn want to make healthier choices. For instance, instead of we serve a meal to our child and we put soda or we put, you know, juice, as I said before, with high fructose corn syrup, you want to maybe make a little bit of squeezed lemonade, you know, for that child. And I would say if you put a little brown sugar in there, because you know the white sugar is way more processed. If you can't afford it, you want to put a little honey instead, or maybe make that child some nice iced tea. That may be a better way, you know, and sweeten that iced tea with honey or a little brown sugar, you know, and that will do much better than just giving the child this soda or just the box juices and all of that, because over time there are times when you want convenience, but over time, you know, those things has additives and all of that in it. So you also want to avoid eating too often. You don't want to eat often. There's this fad going around where people think every 3 hours I eat a small meal, and really and truly we're not giving our digestive system a rest and a time. I've tried many things in trying to, you know, improve my health, and one of the things that definitely didn't work, it caused a lot of weight gain, was every 3-4 hours eating a meal. And most time the meal is not rightly portioned and the meal doesn't have enough, you know, whole dense nutrient foods, like a lot of whole foods. So unless that meal is half of your plate is salad or fruit, and then you have a little protein, or it's actually some nuts and some apples and some yogurt or something like that, that is considered something as well. So when we say we want to eat every 4 hours, we can't eat snacks and eat meals and think that we're going to have a healthy weight or healthy heart or healthy organs. We have to really think about this carefully and plan what it is we're actually doing. So with a busy schedule, taking care of kids at home will seem almost impossible because the cooking and all of that to do. And that's why you have to make it a priority to cook home as much as possible. You want to prep. One of the things I do, you prep. So let's say you do some meatballs for that child. All right, so you get the ground beef and you make it into the meatballs. One of the good things you can do is freeze those meatballs. You have the meatball sauce, you have the meatballs. When you're ready, you can pull it out and heat it. And you know, you put whatever, some mashed potatoes, whatever it is there for that child. But you know that the next time you're going to give them meatballs, like say the following week, you have that meatball. Let's say the same thing, you prepare some chicken, you put away some, so you can pull that back out and be able to, you know, have a system where you know that child is eating healthy without too much strain. So you don't want to have to worry, you know, about what goes into the food, and that's why you want to cook at home. When you purchase meals outside, we're not sure what types of oils, what types of sugars, what types of things is going into that food. But when you are cooking at home, you know exactly what you're putting in that food. All right. So I would advise use a lot of natural herbs in your food. You want to use onions, garlics, ginger, you know, green seasonings. In the Caribbean, we have things like we call shadow benny, thyme, all those things. We want to put those, you know, natural things in our food. You can blend up a jar of seasoning and you just put those seasonings, some salt, black pepper, paprika. You want to use natural things and stay away from those processed types of pre-packaged all-purpose seasonings that has a lot of, you know, genetically modified ingredients inside of it that can be harmful and cause a lot of gut disruptions. All right. So you want to also help to build good habits of cooking home for the kids so that they grow up with the habit of eating home cooked meals most of the time, and fast food is not something that will be a go-to or a habit for them. A lot of the rise in high blood pressure and diabetes and all of that is because we're eating outside too much, and the extra salt, the extra sugar, you know, in time it takes, you know, there's an impact on our body. So you want to shop and cook with them. This is something I would often do with my little one. You take them to the supermarket with you. I teach him to read labels from a very young age. So when he goes into the snack aisle or the ramen aisle or something, you say, no, mom, I can't have this, it has MSG. Or I can't have this, it has high fructose corn syrup, because I've taught him to read labels and to recognize the things that are harmful. So you want to teach them the benefits of having these healthy food options, and you want to give them that opportunity to learn about healthy nutrition. All right. So don't only give them, this will not only give them a sense of achievement and empowerment, but it would help them to be more willing to eat the foods that, you know, you prepare for them and to follow the healthy lifestyle that you're leading them into. Another thing that you can do is also you can have meals together as a family regularly. Recently, I sent my husband a text because in our home, a lot of times we like to sit and take a look at the television when you're eating. Do you know that that's very harmful? Because when you're eating, you're not mindful. We're supposed to chew a spoonful of food at least 30 times, 32 times. So think about it. You're eating and you're engrossed in this movie. You're not paying attention to digestion. You're going to affect your metabolic system. You know how your body's metabolizing the food because it's not chewed properly. Pieces of food are going to break down and get into the small intestines. Your body not going to be able to absorb the nutrients from that food because digestion starts from the mouth, right? So you want to really make it a point to eat with your kids at least once a day, and you want to have friendly conversations. You want to try to eat around the table as opposed to everybody's watching television and distracted when eating. Another thing, a lot of times parents, especially us old school parents, we would say, you didn't do what you have to do, go to bed, no dinner. That's not really a good practice because you don't want to use taking away food as a punishment. When you try to do that, your child may see that punitive, and you don't want to have things like binge eating, or that child may get up and sneak into the fridge to eat, or you don't want to cause some unhealthy habits where later on, sometimes there are people, they can't even fast. They feel like, I just need to run to food, and that's a psychological problem. It means that there's a gap. There's something that we need to address emotionally. Why are we eating so much? Why are we eating more than the regulated portion size? Why are we eating more frequently than we're supposed to? So you want to really have that healthy kind of emotion and healthy mindset where food is concerned. All right? You don't want to create that fear from early that they're not getting sufficient food. All right? And cause them to worry, and all of that. So let's yes, I want to also say this, just a simple thing like taking away food and saying no dinner tonight as a punishment can lead to really unhealthy relationship with food. All right, so we don't want to do that. We want to plan also balanced food outside of home. So you must know the meal plan. Like, let's say your child is going to school and they're eating in the school cafeteria. It doesn't hurt to find out, what's the meal plan in the school. Some parents don't even know what their children are eating lunchtime in school. And I'm going to say this because it needs to be said. Here in the US, there's a lot of dairy, a lot of cheese and milk and stuff in the food. If your child has respiratory issues, you would need to be very vigilant, with those things, So you want to really make sure that you can pack a healthy option lunch that includes a lot of fruits and vegetables if that is necessary. If the dietary plans, is not meeting the needs of your child, or if your child has specific needs or challenges, you want to really be vigilant about that. All right. So let's talk about some more healthy ways that you can really help your digestion when you're eating. All right. Some healthy ways that you can help your digestion, I want to just reiterate, is to really ensure that you teach your child what is a healthy diet. And you want to look at that plate, right? And when you look at that plate, half of that plate must be fruit and vegetables. Can be a mix there, can be just some salad, some cooked vegetables. Teach your children, carrot sticks. If the child doesn't want to eat the carrot sticks raw, what about fermenting those carrot sticks? If they won't eat it fermented, what about dipping it in some nice dressing that they would like? I mean, you don't want to use a harmful dressing. It would be better if the dressing is homemade. But you want to really train that child to incorporate vegetables. And when they see you doing it, they're going to do it as well. So it's a journey, and you can be very patient with that child and, gradually make the transitions. But I want to encourage us. A lot of the diseases that we see today, attention deficit disorder, all the things that we're seeing in bipolar, all the moods and anxiety, the anger in children, a lot of it is because of the gut-brain connection. If you don't have a healthy gut, you won't have a healthy brain. And I want you to just try something. If you try eating healthy for 24 hours, you're going to see some changes in your body. Try it. And as they say, you would like it. God bless you.